Revelation 20. After Adam's sin was just rampant, till God said, nope, I'm going to start all over. But first he laid the whole genealogy of humanity. Cain killed Abel, and he gave him another seed in Seth. And the minute Cain's seed and Seth's seed started mingle, God said, it's it. But the seventh from Adam never died, laying the pattern of the manifested sons. But only the 10th from Adam, which was Noah, meaning rest, would restore creation. So in time, when the time is up, we will have conquered death. And the battle for seed is for a body, and the body is to have the right spirit inside, bringing humanity back to the place of image and likeness, having the seed of God in him, taking us back in the way we were created, image and likeness. The Bible is one vision. The vision of all is like a book that was sealed, but here it's open in Revelation. The statue of Daniel was the body that was being prepared for Satan. But in Hebrews 10, he says, I have come, I've prepared a body. Verse 7 says, in the volume of the book I've come. And verse 9 says, I've come to remove the old, because the system that was to bring forth the Christ became a harlot, and she compromised with the world, and she allied with Rome to take out the Christ. But God has them in derision. After the Spirit descended, Christ took the temptation. The temptation is the same for everyone, and he took it for us. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. Adam was tested in the garden and he failed. Jesus was tested in the desert. The first temptation, he said, let the stones be made bread. Christ was the bread that was prophesied that would come from the heavens. He said, no, you will not live by bread. You will live by the very words that come from the mouth of God. I am the word. At the end, he was the rider on the white horse, and on his side was his name, the Word of God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. The second temptation, he went to the city, to the highest pinnacle of the temple. He said, cast yourself off. He said, you will not tempt God. Then, in a moment, he took him to the high mountain, and he showed him the kingdoms of the world. The kingdoms of the world were the winds that rent the rocks Elijah saw. They were the horses, which is revealed in Revelation, and they were the seals. Those were the nations that functioned in the 400 years of silence, preparing for the battle. Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. Rome was the rod of iron. Israel became the harlot riding the beast in Revelation 17. They allied with Rome to take out the Christ, and then they started persecuting the Christians. And in the persecution on Christians, which began with Paul, and he turned around, and Rome was stirred up and started persecuting the Christians and the Jews. 66 AD, the Jews revolted, and it turned into the tribulation. It was a terrible time. Daniel 12 says, it was a time like has never been and never will be, because this is not dealing with our world wars. This is history that happened 70 AD. On the mountain with the third temptation, Satan said, why don't you just bow before we don't have to go for this battle? And he said, get behind me, Satan. And Satan left him for a more opportune season. In Revelation, he was bound 1,000 years. He was bound a perfect period. And in that perfect period, which was a day, 1,000 years is a day, and this is a day, meaning a measuring of time, which was the 3.5 years from the baptism and the temptation unto the cross. Satan couldn't kill the Christ. Then he was released. And 3.5 years later, Stephen was stoned, and it ended the final week of Daniel's prophecy. Daniel saw all these things and he said, God, I don't know what to do. God said, seal it. In Daniel 9, the vision of the 70 weeks of 7 were given to Daniel. Israel was in Babylon 70 years, a complete time. Now 7 complete times will be unto the total destruction, and it will end the last week, bringing us to the Christ. And this was the day of the Lord. Yet the day of the Lord opened also the day of vengeance, which removed the old, that we can have this day that David said, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Today, if you hear my voice, harden not your heart. We need to understand the terms, the spiritual terms used from Genesis and Revelation, and binds the spirit word in the written word. That's why we have to rightly divide the word of truth, not get stuck with our natural minds in times and seasons. We must understand the purposes of God in time.